Hi, everybody, and welcome to Saturday, early on a Saturday morning here on the island of Phuket, Thailand. And it's great to have you with us. So, what I'm trying to do at the moment with these live chats is sort of wiggle them around a little bit just to see what is the best time to do them. Because, I know it's all very well picking a time that's convenient for me, but I also need to think about you, the most important people of all. So we've been trying the Friday nights at 8 p.m. Usually we've done the Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Well, today we thought we'd do it a little bit earlier. I do need to disclose that I've got lots of stuff to do today, and so it was actually much more convenient for me to do it much earlier in the morning. As you may or may not know, I'm fitting out these beach houses up in Penang, and they are taking a lot of my time because, I do like getting the sandpaper out and getting the paintbrushes out, and I think it might be a bit of an Australian thing. Oh, I'm going to get jumped on for saying that, but I know we do love our DIY and our DIY programs, makeover programs, and sometimes our weekly visits to Bunnings, which is somewhat of a mecca, I think. Bunnings is a great big sort of hardware warehouse. I used to love going down to my Bunnings. Always great staff, very capable and happy to help, and carrying around their tape measure and ready to share their knowledge. And that was probably the good thing, because if you said, I need a piece of timber to do this and that, there'd be somebody who'd go, I know exactly what you need, and by the way, you should be using this primer and this top coat. And it was always a great place to go and get some knowledge, have a look around, see the latest products, and usually catch up with people. They had another thing which I used to like out the front. They always had a charity sausage sizzle, which was a way that you could... why am I rambling on about this? But they used to... it was like a sausage in a bun, and you'd buy one, and it tasted great. Well, it seemed to taste great, and the money went to charity. Whatever. So good morning to everybody, and we are going to be talking today a bit about... Chinese tourism and an existential threat to Chinese tourism. I think some of the people in the comment section have already alluded to us. Thank you very much to Bill. So we will get to that. Also, Matty, thank you very much, Matty, very much for your very kind and generous thought on a Saturday morning. That's much appreciated. And I know you've got a question which I will attend to in just a moment. Actually, there's a couple of questions there. But what can I say about the weather? They've been predicting doom and gloom. We had a lot of heavy rain earlier in the week in the south and here in Phuket. But the last couple of days have been sensational. And today, bright sunshine, light westerly winds, and the prospect of a great day ahead with probably little chance of rain. Now, I am just going to dart off the screen and scratch my nose because it's not polite to do it on screen. That feels better. Okay. I always have these morning, sort of hay fever. It's been just a part of my life here in Thailand. Over the years, I've had all the tests. We can't seem to work out what it is, but it's thought that I'm allergic to the black mold. So it happens during the wet season, that black mold that grows on buildings and just about everything, and we spend half our time, washing it off the driveway. I think when it blows around, I am allergic to it. I don't think it's terribly good for you. Remember when I first came here, one day I'd been here for 3 or 4 weeks and had been away or something. I came back, opened up the wardrobe, and it was this sea of black. All my clothes were pretty much destroyed. The black mold washed out of some of them, but others, like cotton clothes and things, no, it just didn't survive, dead forever. So that black mold can be quite invasive. Be interested to hear in your interactions with black mold, which is part of living in the tropics in a humid climate. And you want to leave the doors and windows open. I leave my front doors. I've got big glass front doors here. I leave them open 24/7. I've got some flywire screens, which of course I keep closed. But I just leave them open. I leave all the windows open. The windows behind me here, they're open. The windows upstairs are open. So yeah, you do need just to keep the air flowing to prevent this black mold. Let's get on to a couple of. I just need to make sure everything is working okay. And I'm sure people would have told me by now, not that I've scrolled down to check. Yeah, everything's fine. So, yeah, let's go through some of those questions from Matty. A lot of comments and questions. Matty asked, and once again, thank you very much, Matty. But the question from Matty was, how many subscribers do you have now? Well, I'm very happy to say that I've got 25,206 subscribers. So I'm very, very grateful for that. It was amazing kicking over the 25,000 pretty much at the same time I also kicked over my first year doing this program. So I'm surprised, I'm amazed, I'm delighted, I'm very, very grateful. So may that continue. This whole YouTube thing is a whole brand new world. I'm learning every week. Everybody thinks they know how to do YouTube. There's a lot of experts on YouTube actually making programs about how to improve your YouTube programs. And obviously you've got to get the basics right, like, have it in focus, make sure there's lights, make sure the sound is probably the most important thing. I've learned people will put up with a shitty picture, but they won't put up with bad sound. So get those basics right. Basically, you've got to have a good thumbnail. But beyond that, pretty much it's just hard work. And, being consistent, if you want a tip, my best tip, I'd say the best tip for YouTube is just be consistent. If you're going to be doing a weekly program, do it every week. If you're going to be doing a daily program, do it every day at the same time. You just have to be consistent to build up that audience. Now, we are going to be having a talk about the problems with Chinese tourism and existential problems with the Chinese economy. I'm not an economist, but I'm going to be going through it from a sort of a high up level, not deep down, because a lot of you will know a lot more about the details than I, except that I've been watching the story of the Chinese economy, of course, from a distance for many, many years now. I've travelled to China as a tourist and as a businessman. I've done business there before, so I probably know a bit more about China than most, but of course not as much as others. I've still got some business things happening in China, but I don't spend any time there anymore. Matty also asked, do you still talk to Natty? Does she still do stand-up comedy? I haven't spoken to Natty probably in 3 or 4 months, but I have spoken to her before that, and certainly since leaving Tiger last year. July 29th last year. Won't forget that date. One of the best days of my life. But Natty's alive and well, as far as I know. I don't know if she's doing the stand-up anymore. A very talented girl, and she became quite popular on Tiger. I was never quite sure whether myself and Jay and Natty were a good mix. I mean, you can be good friends off camera, or even the opposite. You can be completely enemies and not talk to each other, but have a great online presence. A great presence when you're doing it, or be great friends, but it just doesn't work when the camera's on. I mean, I'm very lucky to find Steve Ross, with an E, who's a great guy. I get along with him personally, but I also, we sort of seem to work quite well on camera. And those things are very hard to predict. You can think, oh, this person's quite interesting and this person's quite interesting. Let's throw them together and it'll be twice as interesting. Well, sometimes it works out the opposite. There's just a chemistry that's very hard to predict, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But look, I mean, if Natty turned up in Phuket, I'd be very happy to meet with her. She'd be welcome to stay in my house, but I haven't seen Natty for a while. Now, Bill Ellis said, I'm investing in Evergrande and country stock. China is coming back, baby. So, Bill, thank you very much for introducing it. And I go to this, where are we? And These are the headlines when you type in the word Chinese economy today. China's economic model is washed up on the beach, says veteran investor David Roche. And Chinese authorities attempt to revive flagging economy amid contagion fears. China's slowing economy seen from ground level. Explained why China's economic meltdown is making the world nervous. Reuters saying China's sputtering economy curbs outlook for diesel demand. China's Xi, that's President Xi, calls for patience as Communist Party tries to reverse economic slump. Will the rest of the world feel China's deflation pain? CNN saying fears grow of a Chinese economic slowdown, and on it goes. So it's in the news, and it's the big talk in the economic world at the moment. By the way, hope you've got your cup of coffee or cup of something, or maybe it's a glass or a bottle of something else. Very nice. But the big question I thought I'd be posing today is, what is that going to mean to Thailand and Thai tourism? It's only in the last couple of months that Chinese tourism has once again led the way here in Thailand. Here in Phuket, we had a lot of Russian visitors earlier on the year. They're starting to sort of drop off now, and the Chinese have overpassed them. Overpassed them? They've just passed them. So that's happened over the past couple of months. And nationally, Chinese are now the leading provider of tourists into the country. So there's been a lot of work to try and get the flights back up again and encourage Chinese to visit Thailand again. But I would say that this economic news is certainly going to, probably outright prevent and otherwise discourage other people to be returning to Thailand at the moment for essentially a holiday. There's been a lot of news in the last couple of weeks about Chinese scammers as well. And these are not people who just weasel a couple of $100 off you. These are high-end Chinese scammers, mostly scamming their own citizens and using Thailand as a base to do so. Just Thailand, obviously a bit of a friendly place for visitors, for people staying. It's got quite a range of different visas that people can use. And so that brings me to the next problem, which is retirement visas. And we'll get on to that a bit later as well. So interested in what you think about the impact of the Chinese economy and its faltering economy on what's going to happen to Thailand's tourism. What do you see the Chinese doing here whilst they're in Thailand? I mean, there is a whole sort of range, or here in Phuket, there is a whole sort of Chinese thing. They perhaps don't go to some of what the Western tourists used to go to, but they go to their own tourist attractions. Not their own, but ones that are specifically designed for them. So while people say, oh, they never go spend money in the bars, well, they don't want to go to the bars. They want to do different things. And they do spend a lot of money. So you go to places like Siam Niramit, which there's one in Phuket, one in Bangkok, big sort of world-class stage show. And they love that. And the funny thing is they laugh at different things that than I might laugh at. Now, going to like a Ladyboy show, I remember it was 3 or 4 years ago, I was invited to go down to watch Simon Cabaret in Patong, which at that stage before COVID had been operating for 35 years without missing a single day. Even when the tsunami hit Patong, they kept the show going that particular night. So it's been going on for a long time. Famous Ladyboy show. And the Chinese, again, they loved it, laughing and laughing, but they were laughing in different spots. And the show, very well designed, had some Chinese music in it, which, of course, the tourists really appreciated. So for all the money that they bring to the Thai economy through tourism, it looks like there's going to be a bit of a downturn. So I will be interested in your comments on that. I really haven't gone through any of the comments at all, except for Matty, and thank you. Mango Sticky Rice, Swadee Cup, looking like a nice morning. It is indeed. Hans, hello, Hans. Nice to see you. Frank in Thailand, good morning. 7 is early on a Saturday. I'm up at 5:30 every day, so it's not really early for me. Stephen Richter says, hello, Tim. I retired and moved 2 years ago to Samut Prakan, just outside Bangkok's city limits, but close to a BTS station. I've not had a bad day since. Love it here. Great to hear, Stephen. And well, I mean, the thing is, Stephen, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, that some people, they move to Thailand and everything just is good. Things work out for them. They love the culture. They immerse themselves. They try and learn the language. They make some local friends and new friends. And they go out of their way to try and ingratiate themselves with this new home that they've chosen. Other people, it just doesn't work like that. They have a shocking time. They may have been embezzled. They may have had problems. They may have had some sort of health emergency, and suddenly everything just craters, and it's not a good experience at all. But great to hear that you've had a good experience, Stephen. So always good to read that. Not so hard to find YouTube channels I feel we can trust, says Kurt. Rob Ray, morning Tim from Pongkrating in Ratchaburi. Stefan, good morning, all from sunny Bangkok. Seems it's sunny all around Thailand today. It's funny, often when I run into the media stories in the morning, I see raining around Thailand today or warnings, and then I go through the various forecasts and it's sunny here and sunny there and overcast there. The BMA, not the BMA, the TMD, Thai Meteorological Department, notoriously wrong, I think is the best thing I can say. AJF, greetings from Airlie Beach up in Queensland, a very nice part of the world. And Kimo says, Finland is here. And hello, my bro, San Joel too. I'm not sure what you're talking about. And, okay, James, good morning from Seattle. I've been talking with the Thailand elite people and an agent. Interesting stuff. Easy elite access will be extended into the new regime. So, James, I'm going to talk about retirement fairly broadly soon. It's on my list of things to discuss, but would be interested to hear any other rumours that you may have heard from your agent. And believe me, when it comes to retirement at the moment, there are lots and lots of rumours. Nothing has been confirmed except what you just mentioned, the changes to Easy Elite, but yeah, there's a lot of rumours around. Most of them, 99%, which I just want to say are just rumours and complete bullshit. So let's just keep focused on what we actually know. New program to be announced after September the 17th, effective October the 1st. That's correct. So we still don't know what those programs are for the Thailand Elite program. It's not going to suit everybody. There's only 28,000 people, I believe, signed up to Thailand Elite. But for those with a bit of cash, it has been a way of getting your stay in Thailand nice and guaranteed and simple. Pat Tai says, Swadija Kun Tim. Frank in Thailand, James, they said the same about Obamacare. So for me, Saturday mornings are better, says Stefan. Oz Scale Modelling. Try scheduling your live streams for your subscribers. Subscribers only? Why is that, Oz? I'll keep an eye out for a response on that. Why schedule a live stream for your subscribers only? My feeling with YouTube is if you start doing memberships, particularly when you're doing a broad thing like news, it's not as if I've got something to tell people that is specific and that they can't get somewhere else. So I believe I have to cast my net as wide as possible for people who are interested in Thailand, people who live in Thailand, people who have been to Thailand and want to keep in contact with what's happening here, people who may want to come to Thailand in the future and looking for information, people who may be looking to retire or live in Thailand long term. So I try and cast my net as wide as I possibly can. I don't focus on any particular sex. I don't focus on...
More results from the apps on your TV. I'll need to
My TV's talking to me. I don't know why. Maybe I said something. Maybe I left... Or maybe it's a ghost. But that's unusual. My TV just started randomly talking to me. Bit strange. Well, I don't even know what I was talking about. Anyway, so thank you very much. I've completely lost my train of thought. We like DIY here in the UK, says Mark. Yeah, I'm a bit of a DIY person. I don't mind, screwing up a picture frame and doing a bit of decorating and stuff. And painting. I've painted many a house. I thought when I started painting these 2 beach houses, it might take a couple of days. Here, 6 weeks into the project, and we're still painting things. And I've got about 20 tins lined up, all doing different things. Oh dear. And when I walk into Thai what to do, the paint people, they just run. They know I'm their most difficult customer. No, you can tint a primer. I'm telling you, I've tinted primer in the past. You can tint the primer. No. You can tint... Oh, they hate it. Rachel Masters says, "G'day, Tim, from the Crow Eater State, Adelaide. Where is Tim's coffee? Triple shot required for this morning." There's my coffee. And it says, "There is no set path. Just follow your heart." Oh, I needed my coffee cup to tell me that. Love to see progress photos of the renovation, says Steve. Yeah, they're coming. Believe me. I've been shooting video, so there will be before and after video. What is the cat doing? I've got cats and TVs just acting rather peculiar this morning. Don Jordan says, "Good morning from Kumpawapi. Love the blah, 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 blah. We like sausages," says Bill Ellis. That's nice. Heathrow, I'm on my way there now, Steve. Hello from San Diego, says James. Kimo's given me about 100 hearts. So thank you very much, Kimo. Back to you. Any global boiling in Thailand? Any global boiling? Reg, I don't know what you're talking about. Is that some sport I don't know about? Hurricane coming north along the coast of Mexico, says James, heading directly for Southern California. That's unusual, isn't it? Hurricanes in California. I thought usually they sort of whip up in the Gulf of Thailand and usually hit the southern states of Mexico and Louisiana and Florida and down there. So I would have thought that's unusual. Have you hired the miscellaneous Thai manager? I actually have hired a manager for the 2 beach houses, and I suppose you'll be meeting him in, sometime in the future. Well, especially if you do rent out one of the beach houses, you'll certainly be meeting him, and you'll have to put up with me as well. Good morning, Tim. Congratulations on reaching your goal of 25,000 viewers, says Nacho Daddy. Just blinking the eyes a few times, get the eyes working. So should have wound them up a bit to change the battery. Did Tim admit to never having tried typical Isan sausage? I don't like it much. No, not a fan of sort of the Thai sausage. People are going to be reading all sorts of stuff into this. No, I know what you mean with the Isan sausages. The flavours don't do anything for me at all. However, they are very popular. Third hurricane in 100 years or so, says Stuart. So they do get hurricanes along the west coast of the southern US as well. So that's interesting. Thailand has had its hottest summer ever, says Stephen Richter. Well, it is a summer now, but of course Thailand, and particularly here in the south, Thailand generally has its hottest months during the winter and the spring, which is earlier in the year and into March and April. March and April are usually the hottest months here in Thailand, and it's usually in April when the monsoon starts in some places. Been a bit late this year. We're now into August, and we've only really started having serious rain this week here in Phuket. Hi Tim, when are you planning your trip to the Myanmar border? Says Pierre. Well, look, I tell you what's been happening. Apart from the rain, I've been in contact, of course, with the people who are doing these runs, these food bag runs. There's a lot of politics involved, and also the tracks have become almost impassable. Now, I've also been having some problems with sciatica. So together with the photos of the videos they've been showing me of the four-wheel drives doing this for hundreds of kilometres, my sciatica and the politics involved at the border, I've decided it's probably not a good thing to do at the moment. It's not that it won't happen in the future, but it's just very difficult to organise. Plus, I'm really bogged down with the beach houses at the moment. That will alleviate somewhat in the future, but it was going to happen. It was like almost a sure thing, and then the people who were organising it have had to wind back the offer because the sight of a foreign person who may be known to do news and stuff on the border at these locations at this time could be quite sensitive. So it will happen, but I don't know when it's going to happen. How much are the beach house? Da Vinci 77. Well, at the moment, probably they're going to be listed in Airbnb, and I think they're going to be around about 3,000 baht a night. They are a two-bedroom beach house, both with contemporary fit-out. You're literally 50 metres from the beach. We've also got like a champagne sunset. I'm not allowed to say champagne. I have to say bubbly, I believe. But yeah, we'll give you a couple of seats, a nice table, looking right over the beach, or even on the beach if you like, and a bottle of champagne or something else if you prefer. We've also got a little kit where we'll wheel out a beach umbrella and some towels and some drinks and set you up on the beach. So it's sort of a bit 4 or 5 star, and we've also got a full concierge service where we can take you around, show you around. I mean, there are additional costs involved there. If you stay for at least 3 nights, we'll pick you up at the airport in a 1983 pale blue Mercedes-Benz as well. Interesting that the airport to the Turtle Beach beach houses is closer than the Phuket airport to Patong. So it's not that far away. It's just over the bridge. About 20-minute drive from the bridge, the Saracen Bridge at the north end of Phuket. Frankfurt was flooded. I just lost that one. Have I got any other super chats I haven't mentioned? I missed a few last week. David Clark. Thank you very much, David. Very kind of you. David, where are you from? Oh, Australia. Okay, so you're just got a emoji jumping up and down. If you've got a question, please do so. Scott D, very kind, always generous, and Scott D's been part of our programs ever since day one, well, and before. Scott says, greetings from Chicago, always a fan of your work. The mix of your recent news, stories and analysis has been a perfect balance and particularly strong. Thank you. I do tend to meander somewhat, and I sometimes start off, I've got these things I'm going to talk about and somehow never get around to them. But thank you very much, Scott, and your family for your generosity. When do you get the silver award for your YouTube, says Reg? You have to have 100,000 subscribers. 100,000 subscribers is many, many, many years away. I don't even know if I'll be doing YouTube by the time I'd be even possibly getting close to 100,000 subscribers. 100,000. Just very quickly before I finish, I just walked past this book this morning, which is a book about Dame Edna Everage and her relationship with Barry Humphries, who, of course, was Dame Edna Everage was his alter ego. And it reminded me of the very sad passing this week at the age of 88 of Michael Parkinson. For anybody who's sort of in the media business, Michael Parkinson's always been seen as one of the best interviewers. Interesting, his approach. His approach was really let the guest take the stage, let the guest do all the talking. But he was always made people feel very comfortable. He was very affable. He had a quite interesting style that was so laid back and not intense. I mean, there are some interviewers, and the interview is all about them. With Michael Parkinson, it was always about his guests. I'm not sure if people in the US or other parts of the world may be so familiar with Michael's work, but his talk program ran for decades and became a bit of a fixture on Saturday nights, and certainly was in our household as well. He used to say his favourite interview over the years, well, he used to interview her many, many times, was with Dame Edna Everage. And if you type in Michael Parkinson, Edna Everage, or Dame Edna, you'll get a laugh, a big laugh. Well, I hope you will anyway. I've always found them very, very amusing. Those two just had one of those interesting duo spars. They were able to spar with each other, and it worked very, very well. And also Michael interviewed Celeste Patterson, another one of Barry Humphries' characters. Barry Humphries only died about 2 months ago. So two big losses in the entertainment world, or people who I grew up with appreciating, acknowledging and learning from. So Vale, Michael Parkinson, dead at 88. So we're not got many people taking up the discussion about the Chinese economy, but I'll keep on wading through. And what else have we got? Outrageous titles to get clicks. Well, yes, Hans, my intention was to get to these topics, and I'll get to the retirement one, but please discuss what you think about the impact of the downturn in the Chinese economy and how you think it's going to affect Thai tourism, or if you think they're all going to keep turning up. Thanks for your reliability, says Alpha Bravo. Kun Tim does all his hard yakka all by himself. I've got helpers. In fact, I won't even bother. To get from here to Pangao, I can go straight up Tep Kasat Road, but the person who's been helping me with mostly painting and also with some of the landscaping lives in Pak Lok, which is on the east side of Phuket, which has been saving me having to drive through the worst traffic at the moment. My God, the traffic's been horrendous. But up around Talang, and especially through the township of Talang, not the roadworks, it's just a lot of traffic at the moment. But by going out to Pak Lok and then back up and meeting the road near the airport, I'm missing all that traffic. So it hasn't been bad. X has been, and Spurt is okay, yes, good. Tell Natty that 25,000 viewers are waiting for her YouTube channel. 25,200. Well, look, I mean, I don't know if Natty started her own channel. I'm sorry, I'm just not up with the latest on Natty, so I'm probably not the best source. I would probably suggest sending her an email or contacting her on her Facebook page. That's the best way to find out what she's doing, but hope she's doing well. Hi, Tim, says Matthew. Hi, back to you. More Indian people than Chinese now. Well, that's not correct. With the Chinese numbers, both I know here in Phuket and in Bangkok at Suvarnabhumi, Chinese are the highest number of travellers arriving at the moment. Good for Thai tourism, says Pat Thai. Good for Thai tourism, having fewer tourists? Please explain. Who is faster on the scooters, the Russians or Kuwaitis? Okay, so there have been quite a few stories during the last couple of months about problems with some Middle Easterns, and has been named in the media, specifically Kuwaitis, racing on motorbikes and generally what we'd say in Australia, hooning around, making noise, getting the residents flustered, and recently this week having fatal crashes. So I'm not really sure what this probably needs to be fixed up at the original rental. Show us your license, show us your insurance. I think they're going to have to be much more careful who they're going to be renting out these motorbikes to. Love to see more vlog of Chinese having buffets, says Pat Thai. Look, I think this is pretty average when you start sort of digging into this racist tropes. We can do better than that. And the Chinese have been great contributors to the Thai tourism economy. I mean, we need to acknowledge that. And you may not like some of the places they go to, or you may not like some of their culture. You may dislike the Chinese government, but we shouldn't be reflecting that on the Chinese people coming to Thailand to enjoy a good holiday. So enough with the racist tropes. Let's try and focus on the actual question of how do you see the impact on Thailand's tourist economy. Pad Thai, Thailand needs money to progress, thus any nationalities with money are welcome. You're right, Pad Thai. Absolutely. But at the moment, well, until recently, the Chinese have returned as the largest number of tourists visiting Thailand. Big Y Dave. Morning, I thought I was the only grumpy old man who wakes up this early in Bangkok. Beautiful sunny day here. Great to hear. Be good one day if I can actually see who I'm talking to. Be good one day if we can actually post photos and things while we're doing the program. That would be fun too. But so far, it hasn't transpired. M Courtier Group is opening together with another new Hyso shopping mall being built as we speak. M Courtier was probably it was close to where I was living in Bangkok, but probably my favourite of all the shopping centres, as well as what's the one? The one on the other side of the river, the new one. Can't remember the name. That's a great shopping centre as well, as far as shopping centres go. Key J, Tim, your thoughts on common criticism that Chinese tourists typically spend on Chinese businesses in Thailand and the money doesn't really spread into the wider economy? Okay, well, look, there has been many comments made about the Chinese spending in Thailand. Oh, they only spend with their own restaurants and with their own people. Well, of course, you can't have a Chinese business here in Thailand. It's got to be 51% owned by a Thai. So there are plenty of Chinese businesses. And look, there are exceptions of people running dodgy practices. But wow, that's bright behind me, isn't it? Look at that. God's rays shining in. It is a lovely sunny day here. So yeah, the light's pouring in. But as I've said, the Chinese do spend their money in different parts of the Thai economy, not necessarily traditional parts like some of the shopping centres and the bar strips that have been popular with the Westerners. So, but when you talk about Chinese tours and things, the Chinese tour groups that are specifically designed to cater for Chinese travellers, I mean, they're packed. They're so busy. And they've got a product that's specifically aimed at their cultural needs. They do spend a lot of money. From what we can see, and I've looked at so many reports over the years, the Chinese spend more money per day than any other nationality. Now, people go, oh, that's not right. But it is right. The reports have been done, and I've seen successive reports that say the same thing. Now, the total spend of Chinese is less than other people around the world. The total spend, but the per day spend, per diem, is greater. The thing is, they only stay usually for 2 to 4 days, whereas other nationalities stay for 1, 2, even 3 weeks or longer. So the total spend from each Chinese traveller isn't as high as other nationalities, but their per day spend is higher. I hope I've explained that, and I'm not just making that up. So, KJ, that's about the best I can say. Yes, in the past, they used to go to this restaurant and this particular location and this crocodile show, and they were essentially run by Chinese families. That has massively changed. They were the days of the $0 tours. There's very few of those coming through the doors these days. Most of the Chinese travellers now are what we call FITs, free and independent travellers. And they are by far the majority, I would say a good 80-90% of Chinese travellers coming to Thailand these days. So if you're still thinking of Chinese travellers as people who used to come to Thailand 20 years ago, now the person with the flag leading the way, that has really, really changed. Most of the Chinese travellers, you probably won't even notice them. They're just got the backpack on, they've got the motorbike, they're staying in this hotel, they're making all those decisions themselves on their own Chinese social media. Did you sell the radios? No, they're right here. Who is it? Stefan, there you go. I've got them right here. Yeah, these radios, AM and FM, and they got, you can plug your USB in there and play your MP3 files. So they're only about 300-400 baht. Very cute, aren't they? Basically replicas. Oh, that one's got a torch on it as well. FM, AM, and a torch. Kimo sent me some more stickers. James, I get the same text. I'm sorry, I'm just so slow today getting through all these. Morning from sunny Sydney says Fuggerug. Hope I got that right. Old men get up early, says Mick. Is that true? I have always got up really early, but do you get up earlier when you're older? I know Steve, he gets up really early in the morning. But I know I think you'd probably sleep less as you get older, and that may give you the impression that you're getting up earlier. I don't know. Why is dollar so low, says Pat Tai. Which dollar? The Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, US dollar? Good morning from Phuket, says D. Sandy. Sawadee krap from Melbourne, Australia, John D. I'm trying to get through these as quickly as I can. Roped in going on Thailand tour with Chinese group from China. Lived in China at the time. First night on agenda in Bangkok. Men playing drums with their dongs. Then most Thai came via... Okay, I missed all that. Don, looks like you've got an interesting story there. And congratulations if you joined in. Thomas saying, good evening, Tim, from Niagara Falls in Canada. I've been to Niagara Falls from Buffalo, I think the town that's on the Niagara River. Quite interesting place. That was in 1983. Pretty sure the Niagara Falls are still there. Is it fair to say Phuket is going to continue getting expensive, or it may come back to some sort of sanity once inflation is under control? Thanks, Tim. That's a question from Benny. My feeling about Phuket is that there was a lot of very, very local inflation earlier in the year, particularly in the rental and the real estate market, where some of the rentals went up 4 or 5 times what they were. And it was really the impact of a sudden rush of Russian visitors in December and January. Yes, some of those crazy costs are coming back, but in other areas there has been an ongoing issue. One of those issues, and I might be wrong on this, but I suspect that many of them have bought cars. Because the traffic, even though the total number of tourists is fewer than we had, say, in 2018, 2019, the traffic at the moment is, I would say, I'm not exaggerating here, twice as bad as it was, say, 4 years ago. And it's only been getting like this during the last 6 months. But the last month, I've really noticed it because I've been doing a lot of travelling up north and south on the island. The traffic has just got ridiculous. It is so slow and so heavy at the moment. So I suspect one of the things that's contributing to that is that some of these arrivals from earlier in the year, and maybe Thais returning to take advantage of this change in the local economy, the number of cars here at the moment is far too many for the roads to cope. And there's probably nothing short-term that the officials can do about this. But for us locals, it's become very, very difficult to drive around to places that used to take me 10 minutes to get to. Now it's taking up to an hour to get there. No exaggeration. And I'm out in the traffic 2 or 3 times a day. So that's first-hand eyewitness report. George Cormendi says, good morning, Tim. Sunny in Mahasarakam. Up in the northeast, I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. But good morning, George. And let's talk about retirement. I'm sort of wading through these. I'm never going to get through them all. I'm sorry if I'm missing some of your questions. I even missed a super chat last week, for which I feel awful. I did mention the person on Monday. Tony King, thank you very much. Appreciate your support, Tony. Can you also give this to Steve Ross? If you want to give money to Steve, do it on his channel. No use if you want to donate to Steve, and that's very kind of you. Don't send the money to me because I'll have to pass this on because it's been publicly declared. So I will pass that on. But no, if you want to send money to Steve, send it to Steve, not to me, because I'll just spend it on wine, women, and song. But thank you very much, Tony. My take is Chinese tourists like to go where there are Thai Chinese signs, just like a place that have Thai English signs, says Stephen. Yeah, I mean, there's another attraction, particularly here in Phuket. Phuket was settled by a lot of Chinese traders hundreds of years ago. And most of the Thais who are here in Phuket, the local Thais, are Thai Chinese, what we call Peranakan or Straits Chinese. And so it's got a very strong Chinese culture here, including things in October like the Vegetarian Festival. And so Chinese New Year's really big here in Phuket. The Vegetarian Festival is huge. And there's a lot of Chinese that enjoy coming here and immersing themselves in some sort of old Chinese culture. Raphael, thanks, Frank, but the hotel wasn't at the beach. I remember it correctly. Sleeveless in Siam. Good morning, Tim. Forgot you had an early start. Jamie, they didn't check those numbers when I was there in April, just saying. I'm missing out some of the context here. No problem with the Chinese tourists except the tour buses. Yeah, the buses they ferry the Chinese travellers around in are huge. They're big double-decker, and they sit up the top. Interestingly, with the curtains closed much of the time, I'd be sort of going, oh, wow, this new place, look at it, it's fantastic. But no, they have the curtains drawn and all the luggage goes underneath. But yeah, the tour buses are enormous. I thought the Brits spent the most, says Richard Woolley. Well, no, the figures don't bear that out. As I said, there's a per day spend on average that we've been able to see the figures on in the past, and also total spend. So if people stay here longer, obviously they're going to be spending more per person. But on a per day spend, the Chinese have been the leaders for many, many years. KJ, thanks, Tim. Tourists generally are noticeable if they're wearing those elephant pants. Yes, so they do love those elephant pants, don't they? I have a pair. I use them for painting. They're nice and cool to wear, and yeah, when you get a few paint splashes on them, you can't usually see. Great sunrise in Rawai today. Posting a video on my YouTube channel, says Sleeveless in Siam. Well, at least you know where you can go and see that if you want to see it. And it's another guy up in Ranong. Ranong. I think his name's Paul. He's been trolling my comment section, telling people to go to Ranong and waxing lyrical about all the wonders of Ranong. I just delete them. I'm sorry. If you want to advertise on my channel, you can pay for it. By the way, I should thank 5 Star Marine, our ongoing sponsor here at TNT. Thank you very much to Sean and the gang. Very bright, isn't it? Maybe I can turn that down. Maybe I can't. I don't know where the control panel is at the moment. I can't turn it, so you're just going to have to put up with a very bright picture. Do you still have the Russians avoiding going to Russian army residing in Phuket, or have the numbers receded? This from Stuart Graham. Look, Stuart, I never believed that a high proportion of the Russian people visiting Phuket were people trying to avoid going into the Russian army. Yes, there were some young Russian people, but most of the Russian people I've been running into, seeing in cafes and talking to, because I enjoy having a chat to them about their time here in Phuket, most of them are young families or older people who just want to get out of Russia because of all the rubbish going on there at the moment. They're avoiding the war. Yes, they're avoiding problems in Russia. And I know a lot of the local schools here have a lot of Russian students. If you were a parent with young children, wouldn't you want to get them to somewhere that is nice and sunny and safe? I would. So I don't decry those Russian people with their families. Even if you're a 19-year-old Russian man, you don't want to fight Mr. Putin's war. I don't decry you getting out of the country and doing everything you can to save your own skin. If you happen to support Mr. Putin and his war, then okay, then you might have more questions to be asked. But for anybody getting out of that country at the moment who are just seeking some peace and security, good luck to you, and I hope you find what you're looking for. Okay, what else have we got here? Stuart Graham, Buffalo is just south of Niagara Falls. Yes, I was there a couple of weeks ago. It hasn't moved much. Okay, good to know. I remember I flew from JFK Airport in New York to Buffalo on an old rusty DC-9, and I was wondering if it'd actually ever get there. Obviously it did. Still got photos of me cycling around Buffalo, floating around in the bottom of a box somewhere. Hans Oman says, any educated guesses on what the upcoming high season will look like compared to 2019? Look, the TAT are the professionals when it comes to getting out the crystal ball and predicting what the tourism numbers are going to be. I think you'd have to be fairly brave. Can I turn this down a little bit? It seems very, very bright. I'll do what I can to turn this down. Focus ISO. If I press that and I pull that down, does that help? I'm doing something to try and help the picture, everybody, so just bear with me. Oh, there it goes. That's a little bit better, isn't it? There we go. Oh, I think that's improved. Okay. Hopefully that's a bit better. And, okay, so yes, it's an iPhone, and you've got to press the screen to make things happen. So, I don't know. I think at the moment, I mean, the Chinese numbers were starting to come up. Now this change in the Chinese economy because of the failure of these big property groups, I think this is going to have a huge impact on the number of Chinese visiting Thailand at the moment. So that's obviously going to detract from the numbers. Beyond that, it's really up to the airlines. If they can provide cheaper or at least good value flights to Thailand, then we'll have a good high season. But at the moment, if you look at the countries coming to Thailand, they're all short haul. India, Malaysia, South Korea, well, reasonably short haul. Japanese, the Chinese were mentioned. Australians, well, it's an 8-hour flight. That's a medium haul flight. But not as many Brits or Europeans or people from, say, South Africa or the US. Those numbers are down at the moment, and it's because the flights are fewer and they're more expensive. So we're just going to have to see what's happening at the end of the year before we know what the high season is going to be like. Be assured that all the tourism groups and the TAT will be talking it up, saying it's going to be the best high season ever. I'm not quite sure because I simply don't know, and they don't either. Good morning, Tim, says Big Pun, from Spain, soon to be living in Thailand. Welcome, Big Pun, and we look forward to your arrival. Hated the membership program on Tiger, says Samuel. Okay, I can't help you with that one. Sleeveless since I am. High season is going to be crazy, this next one. I'm vacationing in Las Vegas in April and had to go watch the solar eclipse on the 8th of April 2024 in North America. covered quite a bit of territory there. Starman Jack a bit better, drop the ISO down a little more. That's about as good as it's going to get at the moment, I'm sorry. Hi Tim, is there a disdain feeling by Thais towards many Chinese or Indian tourists in Thailand? No, not generally. The Thais, when it comes to their interface with tourists, have to be eternally patient with everybody. And it's not as if you can sort of really typecast the tourist these days. I know a lot of people like to, but most people, as tourists, are fine. And they treat the Thais as their hosts very well. Some are more rowdy than others. Some are less cooperative than others. Some don't understand what the Thais are saying. The Thais try and speak in English. The tourists try and speak in English. Complete misunderstanding. So sometimes there's just a cultural divide. No, at the end of the day, the Thai tourism authorities, they know the Chinese do spend plenty of money here. They try to encourage them to come here. And the people who have to interface with the tourists just adapt with the way that they interface with them to cope. Now, a lot of Westerners, they like to do the typecasting by saying, oh, the Chinese are all like this, or they all huddle around the buffets, or all Russians are loud and they don't smile. And I hear all this all the time. I don't tend to see these things. I just sort of see people as people. I don't particularly care where they come from, but I'm always interested to know their journey and their life story and what brought them to Thailand, either as tourists or as long-term residents. But I know a lot of Westerners seem to like putting these different cultures into a box and saying that they're all like that. And the one with the Indian people and the straws. I mean, good God, can't you come up with something original? So I don't tend to see these things. People alert me to these memes. I look out for them, but I don't tend to see them. So I don't think there's a disdain from the Thais towards either the Chinese or the Russians. To particular Chinese people and Russian people and British people and Australian people and American people, there would be individuals who ruffle their feathers. Just go and ask the paint shop in Tai Wat Sudu what they think about Australians at the moment. Joe says, some of the worst behaviour I've ever seen is the Australian young guys getting drunk and yelling and screaming on transit and treating the women like crap. Yeah, look, I've seen that too, Joe. So I think you can point to any particular incident or people and then try and wrap the entire nationality around that one person's behaviour. I think we're responsible for not doing that. That typecasting of different nationalities, I think, is, at the end of the day, it's just racism. And I think that we can do better these days. Sparkling watching sunset at, no, it won't be Marigold Mountain. It'll be the beach houses. And it's called, the brand is called Beach House Thailand is the brand. And the two beach houses, one is called Bonneville and the other one is called Coral Cottage. And hopefully there'll be another one on the way soon. But just renovating these first two has been enough of a brain fuck for me. I just need a bit of a rest after these first two renovations. But I'm getting good at it. Hi, Tim. Any thoughts on a name for the beach houses? Oh, I just told you. So, Steve, yeah, one's called Bonneville. The reason being that painting behind me is at Bonneville Salt Flats. More about that when you get there. But it's based on a Jack Vetriano painting of the Bluebird, I think in 1932. And the painting, which will feature in the front room when you walk in the door at the beach house, is what we decided to name that beach house. So one's called Bonneville and the other one's called Coral Cottage. They're both slightly differently themed, but at the end of the day, nice fittings, nice furniture, nice and comfortable, air conditioning in the bedrooms. How's the rainy season going where you are, says David Johnson. And I'm going to talk about retirement in just a moment. because I did promise people I'd talk about retirement. Here, we've had a pretty wet week earlier in the week, but it's only really been this week where we've had a lot of rain. We've had smatterings of rain, but hasn't been doing much to fill up the reservoirs so far. Brendan, thank you very much. And Brendan, from your very kind donation, has a question. If you had to do it all over again, would you still choose to live in Phuket? Or would you perhaps have chosen somewhere else, and why? And Brendan's from Miami Beach. No, look, I'm very happy I chose Phuket because this is where I met my partner of some 5 years. Dina's come to join us. Hello, Dina. Are you going? All right. I think we're going to have an appearance from the cat. I met some great friends here. Phuket's been a great home for 12 years. I'm just moving north of the island to Phang, but I'll still be very much part of Phuket as well. I'll still be visiting here to do much of my shopping and visiting friends, of course. But no, I've been very happy. Phuket's been very good to me. Lovely island, so many dimensions, great beaches, good shopping, plenty of opportunities. Just recently, the amount of traffic has got completely out of control. I imagine they'll solve that problem. I don't know how, but yeah, I mean, I still do love Phuket. Lang WA, Chinese people not from China, only I'm Malaysian Chinese, and there are thousands of overseas Chinese from Western or many other countries, Tim. Tell listeners, don't just stereotype all Chinese. Yeah, you're right, of course, and we do have a lot of sort of people with Chinese ethnicity living here on the island of Phuket. So yeah, plenty of Chinese. Singapore, Malaysia, lots of different parts of so especially Asia and increasingly around the world where Chinese live and enjoy. Icon Siam Food Court is amazing, says Richardo. Icon Siam, that's the name of the shopping centre on the other side of the Chao Phraya. Okay, so retirement. There are rumours, and somebody sent in another rumour to me on our... now I've got to find it. It is in here. Here we go. So a question from Between Drinks, and he said, heard the retirement visa, this is the OA visa, will return to 55 years of age from 50 and be raised to 1.4 million. That rumour saying that you'd have to have 1.4 million baht in the bank as distinct from 800,000, which has been the level for about 20 years. So I haven't heard anything about that particular rumour. Yes, they may change the age. Yes, they may change the qualification, the amount of money you have to have in your bank account. But no confirmation. I haven't even heard that rumour. But there are plenty of rumours floating around, particularly in relation to Thailand Elite. We will know that sooner or later as they are about to change the programs and put some of the prices up. But the rumours about the retirement visa have circulated based around comments from the Deputy Police Commissioner in Thailand, perhaps soon to be the Commissioner, who went out of his way to talk about making retirement visas more difficult to get in the future. So the fact that it was Surachat Hakpan who Police General Surachat Hakpan, the fact that he's been making the comments has, I think, given extra weight for those people who are on retirement, on a retirement visa or on a long stay visa, just to be aware that sometime in the future, once we get a new government, there may be some changes. But all these rumours at the moment are literally just rumours. Nothing has been sent. There's no government at the moment to send it to, but there's nothing that's been proposed at this stage. As soon as I know, I'll certainly do my best to pass it on. Good heavens, Integrity Legal, my good friend Ben Hart, he's been milking this particular issue. Some, 20 videos he's made over the last 2 or 3 weeks, pretty much based around those 2 or 3 sentences from Surachat Hakpan. But yes, will the retirement age go up to 55 as said by Between Drinks? Will the qualification go up to 1.4 million baht from 800,000 baht? I don't know. I haven't heard those rumours. Nobody knows. So if they think they know, if they tell you they know, they're just lying. We just don't know at the moment. And a few more comments before we say goodbye today. If any more comments about the things we're talking about, retirement, the Chinese visitors, happy to read those out. Lang WA from Australia says Chinese people in WA as well. Of course. Plenty of Chinese used to live in Melbourne as well when I used to live there. And of course, a lot of Chinese came to Australia during the gold rush in the 1850s in Australia and settled in Australia, decided to stay, such that there wasn't an Australian town that didn't have a Chinese restaurant. And we used to have our local Chinese restaurant when I was young. And as I've said many times, it was called the Fuck You, F-U-K-Y-U. And my mother wasn't quite in on the joke. My father was. But yeah, I was sort of, my father told me, and so I used to say, can we go down to Fuck You tonight? And yeah, we used to enjoy. In those days, you used to take a pot and Tupperware with you, and you go down to the Chinese restaurant and they give you a bit of Peking duck, a bit of Mongolian beef, a bit of special fried rice, and you'd take it home. So we didn't even, I don't think we ever once sat inside Fuck You. That's what it was called. A big joke from the Chinese having a giggle. It wasn't even that subtle. Okay, so what are we doing here? Nettie has Chinese heritage, says Arnold. I don't know, does she? Speaks perfect Thai. Kenneth Owens, not sure what it's all about, but most likely because Thailand is cheap and very short flight from Australia. So a lot of young Australian guys go there, makes sense. Yeah, Australians, if they want to go overseas, the first places they go are either Bali or Thailand, and usually on the way to the UK or Europe. Don, Tim, thanks for the chat. Enjoyed. Don't overdo it today because yourself a break once. Okay, speaking of having a break, this week there's not going to be a Grumpy Old Men program. So it's just been impossible this week. Steve has been absolutely available. I've been the one that hasn't been available and haven't literally had the time to do a program. So there's not going to be a Grumpy Old Men program tomorrow. Now what we'll do is I'll promise to make it up to you. We'll do a program twice as long or a live show or something next week. But this week I simply haven't been able to fit it in. So apologies for those people that were looking forward to Grumpy Old Men. I've already sent my apologies to Steve, and we do look forward to bringing you a program next week. Martin Fabiano, good morning, Tim. Why does the Thai immigration not facilitate more visa access for people who are married to a Thai or have children? There is a marriage visa, or a visa for people who are getting married. But my coffee is getting cold. But yeah, it has been, it's not easy. And I know that they've still got to do that 90-day reporting. They've got to have, I think, 400,000 baht in the bank. So ongoing problems. But it's perhaps not as easy to be married to a Thai, for all sorts of reasons, than perhaps it could be. So Dina's just saying goodbye. I haven't fed them this morning, that's why they're hanging around. Find yourself a good visa consultant. Well, that from Stephen might be a good recommendation to you, Martin. Go and speak to a visa consultant. Your first visit will be free. Get some ideas from them on what your best bet is. But currently the Thai government do make it a little bit difficult for foreigners to reside here in Thailand. So other people say, hey, the marriage visa's fine. I'm happy to comply and don't have any problems. Okay, weather is 34 degrees and you have cold coffee. Yes, well, it is. It's about 32, 33 degrees out there, and my coffee, I think, is starting to get quite close to that temperature. If I was in Seattle in the middle of winter, it might appear to be still quite warm. I have been in Seattle in the middle of winter. Never again. Okay, Mr. Mike, sitting on Ocean View Resort, Huntington Beach, eating fish tacos. Sounds good to me. Why don't you do a live Grumpy Old Men, says Ape Jones. Yeah, look, I think I've got to talk Steve into that. Steve, I think he'll be up for it. We'd like to do it, I think. The problem is with Steve, you've just got to be 100% on and focused. And I'd be reading the stream and Steve would be, I don't know what he'd be saying. So look, we'll just have to figure out a good way to do that. Maybe we need a third person who can read the comments and then Steve and I can be responding. Alex, hi Tim, big fan. Can you share your visa agent contact? I'm looking for a good one. Look, as I've mentioned before, I'm a little bit averse to sharing. If you send me an email and tell me your circumstances, I'll decide then. But send me an email, timnewtontoday@gmail.com. I'm not going to pass that on publicly because I don't have her permission to do so. Elite Visa has 90-day reporting as well, says Hans. Well, yes, but in most cases, the Elite Visa program staff will do it for you. So that's one of the situations with the Elite Visa. It's usually one of their promises that they'll do the 90-day report for you. I have a visa agent that does my 90-day report for me. I haven't been to the immigration office for 2 years, and that's not long enough. Have a great weekend, says Frank in Thailand. Beer on my deck in Santa Barbara sounds fantastic as well, Mark Solar. KJ, definitely need a third person to man the duck in any live stream with Steve. And Lang WA, love watching, streaming and all past videos. Started 3 months ago while in Penang, Malaysia. Temperature was very hot then. Yes, I love Penang. It does get very hot during March and April as well. As I keep on telling people, if I got kicked out of Thailand for whatever reason, I'd probably go to stay on the island of Penang. Maybe somewhere else. That's just my best bet. Nick Jong says, morning, Tim. Grumpy Old Men is a great show. Tim, keep it going. Yes, look, we're not going to stop doing the program. Just relax. But I'm just having a week off because, and the reason I moved the streams forward today is because I've just got so much to do at the moment. And at 64, you just don't get quite as much done in a day as maybe you used to. And I've got to pace myself a little bit more. So I just haven't been able to fit in the program this week. Hi Tim, do you think the Thai retirement visa change rumours are harmful and making prospective future retirees think twice, says Cooper's Thai Adventure? Well look, maybe alerting people to the fact that there may be changes to the retirement visa in the future, maybe making people think, oh, I wonder if there'll be changes in the future. No matter where you retire in the world, there probably will be changes to whatever visa they're providing in the future. The retirement visa in Thailand has not changed much in 35 years. Yes, the amount of qualification, maybe some of the crossing of the T's and the dotting of the I's has changed, but essentially the qualifications have not changed much in 30 years. So I think given the comments from the Deputy Commissioner and given the changes in the Thailand Elite Visa, it's really up to all of us to make sure that we're on top of what's happening with retirement visa programs. The more we know, the more we know, and knowledge is a very powerful weapon. And if you're going to retire in this country, the least I can do is give you the best, the most up-to-date and the most accurate information. including I'll also share the rumours with you when I think they're worthy of sharing. The only reason I shared that rumour with you this morning is because there's a possibility that given the person who spoke the words, that something may be happening in the future, and the idea of the age range going up by 5 years is one of those things that may change, not just the amounts of qualification. A good show. Have a great weekend, says James. Thanks for the show, Tim. Great as always. Don't overdo things. Graham, I think I have been overdoing things. Okay, that's about it. So, yeah, unless you've got some urgent questions you want to write, I'm going to wind this up in the next 5 minutes after I have another sip of my warm coffee. Give my voice a bit of a chance. I'm going to be doing high pressure washing. We've got these concrete walls right around the garden. They're going to be painted in a very, very dark grey, pretty dramatic, but they need to be firstly steam cleaned, not steam cleaned, what do you call it, high pressure washed, and then I've got to put an undercoat on the whole thing. And then I'll be putting the dark grey on top. So 2 or 3 days work there doing all the outdoor walls. Okay, Arnold says, I think 1 million baht or 80,000 baht per month would be a reasonable update. Arnold, that sort of thing may or may not happen. We just don't know. I think the checks that they should be doing, given that they may or may not put up either the age range or the amount of money you have to have in the bank, we don't know if that's going to happen. But I think they're just going to be checking on the... doing more checks on the actual people, things like criminal records. I think there'll just be more background checks done. That I think would be very reasonable and probably help the Thai police achieve their goals of stopping some of these criminals coming into Thailand and using the retirement visa as their means of staying here. So yeah, that's what I think. Checking on, doing background checks in the future, I think there's going to be more of that. That's my own personal view. How do the cats feel about the move to the beach, says Hans. Out of all the things I worry about in the move to the beach, getting the cats settled is taking up far too much space in my little brain. Cats don't move well, and I know these 2 particular cats that are here at the moment, they're not going to move well either. So I know, having read about it and having moved, well, one of them before, you sort of got to lock them up for a couple of weeks, let them explore the house, let them know that that's their home, feed them in the same place, keep a good routine, let them go out and explore, supervised. I know all the things I have to do, but the cats don't move very well. Dogs, having had lots of great dogs in the past, whatever, as long as you're there, they're happy. Cats, no, they do not move well. There's also quite a few local cats in the area, so I'm a bit concerned about how they're going to be buddying up with them as well. There will be some pain, and there will be a bit of anxious moments, I'm sure. The very, very last thing I'll move, after all the furniture, everything is gone, is I'll take the cats and take the next 2 weeks off. Okay, Blues Traveller. Most retirees don't even have 800,000 in the bank. Their agent just transfers it to give the visual statement that they have to have it. You say most retirees. I know there are some visa agents that will do that as a service. I would say not most retirees. I think most retirees do have the money in the bank, but there are some retirees and some agents that will furnish that amount in a bank account to get a bank statement before transferring it back. I wouldn't say it's most retirees though. Cooper's Thai Adventures. Hi, Steve. If you want to talk to Steve, speak to Steve on his channel. What's happening to your pool, Tim? Very good question. So I found a tenant on behalf of the landlord for this house. A very small rise in the rent. I think they're getting a bargain still. they've bought the pool from me. So the pool's going to be staying here, which is just as well because there was no space in my new location. Well, there could have been, but I don't really want to take the pool with me, given that I'll have the entire Andaman Sea out the front waiting for my tender embrace. So I'll have a very big pool indeed. I might put a little pool or like spa type thing in the garden at some stage, but at the moment, no pool. More and stricter background checks would be for all nationalities to Thailand, like the Aussie Immigration Department do all new immigrants for PR and new citizenships. Tim says Lang WA. Yeah, look, I think the background checks are where we're going to see most of the changes. But look, we don't know. I think that's a good idea. That's what I'd be doing. But we really don't know what the changes are going to be or if there are going to be any changes at all. Okay, my cats keep bringing snakes in. They love to play with them, says Chris Nicholson. Yes, my cats have brought in a few snakes and lizards and scorpions and all sorts of things. They won't have quite that same opportunity because the garden won't be as big and there's a great big concrete wall around it, which will deter quite a few of the nasties from getting in, including, I hope, 5 metre long pythons. Are you still moving into one of the beach houses, says AJF? Yes, I've got 2 beach houses, renovated both of them. I'll be living in one and renting out the other. Then whilst we're in that second beach house, I've also rented a third beach house, which is completely empty at the moment. I'll be renovating that, moving into that, and then renting out the second one. That might happen by the end of the year. But hopefully about late September, October, we'll be opening up beach house number 1. I'll be living in beach house number 2, waving to you across the courtyard. And then at some stage, we'll have beach house number 3, which we'll move into when it's renovated, and be renting out beach house number 2. Might be an entire beach house empire at some stage. Probably not. But hey, got a beach 50 metres away. It's a great little location. A little Thai town, not much to do there. Very quiet, very laid back. I think a lot of people will love it. Are you coming home for Melbourne Christmas this year, Kun Tim? Says Pad Thai. No plans to return to Melbourne at the moment. I had a good friend died in Australia about a month ago and was considering going back for their wake. They decided not to have a funeral, and that's going to be later this month. But it's just very difficult for me to take a trip like that. But no plans to be going back to Australia at the moment, but something may happen tomorrow which will force me to go back. But either they'll throw me out of here or something bad, heaven forbid, might happen. But at the moment, no plans to go back to Australia. Whatever the new requirement is, I hope to make the move to Phuket on November 2025, says Arnold. Yeah, look, I'm pretty sure the Thai government still want retirees. They love retirees here. They know they're an important part of the sort of local expat community. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to close off the opportunity for people to retire in Thailand. And even if they do come up with new guidelines, there's a strong possibility, if they do, that they'll grandfather the legislation. So the people that are already here and maintaining their annual renewals can stay under the old conditions, not the new conditions. But again, that's just speculation and we don't know. And guest-friendly, Mark Solar. Well, yeah, it is guest-friendly, but good luck finding a guest up there. There's not that many people up there around Thailand. And if you want to come there, it's really best to come there for a bit of just a rest and an opportunity to put your feet up. There'll be some nice TVs. You can watch some Netflix, or you can dangle your feet in the Andaman Sea with a nice cool beverage. Both beach houses will feature a view of Steve Ross searching for lighters in the sand. I'm not sure if Steve gets quite that far down the beach, but I'm sure if you're there, you may indeed run into Steve at some stage. Do you rent your beach house for 1 to 3 months, short-term rental? Well, no, it's only going to be short-term, as in 1 day to a week. I'm not really looking at taking rentals any longer than that. So the business model will be short-term rentals, not long-term rentals or mid-term rentals. Christmas is not happening from Heart in the West. Christmas is no happening from Heart in the West. I don't understand. And with that, I've got to go. I've got people to see, things to do, walls to pressure wash, doors to paint. Got to paint the front door today as well. But thank you for joining in. Hopefully we've been able to share a bit of information over the past hour. Always enjoy you dropping in and appreciate your support. Very grateful for the support and the generosity of my viewers. So thanks for watching today. No grumpy old men tomorrow, but of course I'll be back with the weekday news program on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend, and from me and the cats, especially Dusty. Oh, big Dusty. You're a great big cat, aren't you? Doesn't like being held. Puts up with it for a few moments and then says, no, I'm going to go now. But thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.